Hello there. In today's life and career coaching update, I have the privilege of getting to chat with Stephan Wiednar, co-founder of Noomi and head coach. And welcome to today's coaching update, Stephan.
Hi, Steffi. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I've been impressed with your site, Noomi, since the beginning. It's clean and clear and makes it easy for coaches and people looking for coaching to find out more. Can you take us back a little bit to the founding of this site and why you felt this would fill a need?
Well, way back in the early days, we didn't quite have the same business concept in our minds as we do right now. As you could imagine, a lot of startups kind of go through a meandering journey, and we were no exception to that rule. Can you still hear me okay, Steffi?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Sorry, there was a little bit of a glitch in my background here. So what we started with was we developed a web application for any two people to show up and coach each other. So that was the innovation that we had come up with. And once we rolled that out, we got a lot of attention on the press and a lot of people showed up, but then there was a few major problems we had. And the first one was, how are we going to monetize this? You know, it ended up being well received, but it was still a very niche product. And so in order to monetize that kind of a thing, you need to have millions and millions of viewers. And we certainly didn't have that level of interest. It was still a very niche product. And so we started to figure out, well, how can we make money with this? So we looked at the coaching industry, which we were very interested in, and we came up with this solution of helping coaches find coaching clients and helping clients who are looking for coaching enter their journey into coaching and to find the right coach for them. So we've been doing that now pretty solidly for the last 5 years or so, and that's our main line of business.
Yes, and you make it clear for coaches that you're also there to help them get better too. You offer workshops and training, do you not? If somebody joins Noomi as a coach, there are added benefits. Can you tell us?
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, we sit down with all of our new members and we have a 30-minute conversation with them. The first thing we do is we record a quick little 3 to 5 minute interview with all of our coaches, and that gives clients the opportunity to hear people, hear the coaches and learn a little bit more about them in addition to being able to read their bios. And then we also then give them feedback on the types of things they want to be writing on their profiles. We look at the data. We look at which coaches are doing the best, which coaches are the most successful, and then we try to generate rules or lessons from those, and then we share those with our clients. Additionally, what we do is we offer webinars and teleclasses every month or so. We don't want to inundate our audience with an overwhelming amount of information, but we do provide that. Oftentimes it's ourselves, so me or my business partner, Kurt Schuster, and we offer information through those webinars or teleclasses, or we bring in experts who can speak about a topic that we're not particularly strong in, or don't have really deep knowledge in. And so I think our audience of coaches really appreciate that third-party information whenever we bring it forward.
Exactly. And you spoke, Stephan, to successful coaches and studying them. What makes a successful coach?
Well, that's
a good question, right?
It's actually a lot more challenging question to answer than one would originally anticipate. And sometimes we're really baffled. Like, we look at a coach, they have all the things, they seem to be doing all the things right, and they have a really tough time getting clients. And then other coaches seem to fly under the radar. They, don't seem overwhelmingly fantastic in how they present themselves, and yet they secure clients on a very regular basis. But there are, I would say, despite those kind of anomalies, there are some general rules of thumb. And I think the most successful coaches, for one, they have a slightly different mindset, I think, from the outset. What they recognize is that they need to try stuff, whether it's different marketing efforts, different marketing channels, and they're out there making stuff happen. So they're within their community, not necessarily coaching people, but certainly getting themselves known, they're providing some value in indirect ways and not necessarily just doing coaching. And that gets themselves recognized. It gets them a lot more familiar with who their target audience is. And and then it ultimately leads them to being able to offer a more specific targeted service, solving the pains and problems of their ideal clients. And sometimes they come up with unique and different ways of solving those problems. So, and that I think all of that leads to more confidence. And when you can speak confidently as a coach on the phone with a potential client, I think that goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there's specific strategies and tactics that you can employ, especially while offering a free consultation, for example, with a new client. But even if you use all of the right tactics, unless there's some confidence behind that, some know-how, it's hard to, I think, convince clients that you're the right coach for them.
Yes, and it's the fit, right? For the person looking for a coach too, they have to make sure they're comfortable with that coach's personality. Both people, both parties have to feel it's the right fit for it to progress. Do you not feel?
Yeah, absolutely. The right fit, I think, is really important. And maybe the right fit, another way of saying that is there's been some research done, not so much in the coaching field, but in a very parallel or similar field, which is that of psychologists and therapy. And the research there concludes that the best therapists are often the ones that the client feels are the best. So there's sort of this, what do you call it?
Almost emotional empathy, right? You have to have a connection.
Yeah, and the client needs to think, oh, this is the best coach for me. And as soon as they make that thought, then they actually get good results, because now they're more engaged in the actual coaching with their coach, because they think, hey, this is the right coach for me. Now, I don't know what necessarily triggers those thoughts in the mind of the client, like, oh, this is the right coach for me, but I think a lot of it has to do with what you mentioned, the empathy, that the coach's ability to listen, the coach's ability to understand the client, and to be able to reflect back to the client what they're experiencing, and being able to say, yeah, I get it, I understand where you are right now, and here's how we can move forward, here's how you can move forward.
Yes, and it's very interesting. There's different schools of certification. There's ICF, there's solutions-focused coaching. There's many different methodologies. And I think it goes to what you're talking to. It's really the connection. It's almost like dating, right? It's the chemistry, often at the beginning, between a coach and a client that can pay off in the end. It's up to the client. The coach needs to empower the client to move forward. But like you said, there has to be a good fit. And Noomi helps set up those proper fits too, do you not, through your site?
Yeah, absolutely. Like most of the time, clients come to our site and they choose a la carte, basically. They can browse dozens and dozens of coaches, depending on what city they're in, or if they want to browse across entire North America, well, then there's no shortage of coaches to choose from, that's for sure. But we offer a referral or recommendation service to clients, so they can tell us a little bit about their background, what their goals are, etc., and then we recommend up to, usually it's 2, maybe 3 coaches. It depends on what the client really wants. And in that case, we are really looking for a good fit. So we try to really understand the client, what their goals are, what they're looking for, and then recommend the right coaches. We always ensure or recommend that they talk to all of the coaches that we recommend, and don't necessarily go with the first one. You want to have that good connection, that good fit, as we've already discussed.
Exactly. And I noticed, you see behind me my poster, Stephan, Spread the Kindness. I go into schools and do kindness workshops and corporations and talk about the benefits of kindness. I know your company this month does something regarding that character trait. Can you share with us what you do for the month of December?
Yeah, absolutely. In the month of December, we have the Acts of Kindness Advent Calendar. So it's a pretty simple concept. You probably already get it just from the description, the title of it.
Yes.
It's an online Advent calendar. It's got a nice image on the front, and 25 little boxes, and each day we open up one new box, and inside is an act of kindness that we ask our participants to perform that day, whether it's being a secret Santa for the day, or being kind to the planet Earth and picking up some trash or whatever it may be. Every day we give people one little way to be kind, and it's something we started 4 or 5 years ago, and it came out of our interest in positive psychology. So my business partner Kurt, he attended UPenn and got his Master of Applied Positive Psychology, and with Martin Seligman and the other positive psychologists that you're probably aware of, Steffi.
Yes.
And so we were really interested in this via strength survey, which looks at the 24 character strengths, and one of those is, of course, kindness. So we started exploring and brainstorming different ways of helping people be more kind, and then we had this kind of crazy idea literally on November 30th, 4 years ago. And by December 1st at noon, the very next day, we got some of our staff were working through the night, no kidding, to get it up and running. And here we are or I think it's our 4th year, or maybe even our 5th year now of running it. And every year it grows by about 100% the number of people who subscribe. So it's pretty exciting.
Fantastic. Well, Noomi, sounds like you do great work. You help coaches, you help people find coaches, and you spread the kindness as well. So, Stephan Wiednar, thank you very much for joining me on this week's Life and Career Coaching Moment Update. It's a real pleasure to talk to you about Noomi.
Well, thank you, Steffi. I appreciate you inviting me here today.
And Merry Christmas to all the staff.
Yeah, indeed. Merry Christmas.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.